Orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are available from several manufacturers. These devices are used to protect isolated ground receptacles, especially in laboratory settings. Firstly, consider Leviton's Model 5366-R. Secondly, Hubbell offers the HP Elite 130-R. Thirdly, GE manufactures the T-Rate 1755-R. These ground fault circuit interrupters are designed for commercial and industrial applications where a high level of protection is needed. They function by tripping when a ground fault is detected, reducing the risk of electrical fires and shocks. A ground fault occurs when current flows through an unintended path to ground. This can happen when damaged insulation exposes a live wire or when equipment malfunctions. Ground fault circuit interrupters constantly monitor the current flowing in a circuit. If it detects an imbalance between the outgoing and returning current, it assumes current is leaking to ground. The ground fault circuit interrupter then quickly trips, interrupting the power supply. This rapid interruption of power minimizes the duration of the electrical shock hazard. Isolated ground receptacles are often used in sensitive electronic equipment to reduce electrical noise. They have a separate grounding path that is isolated from the building's normal grounding system. This isolation minimizes interference from other electrical equipment. However, isolated ground receptacles still require ground fault protection to prevent electrical shocks. Using a ground fault circuit interrupter in conjunction with an isolated ground receptacle provides two layers of protection. The isolated ground minimizes electrical noise, and the ground fault circuit interrupter protects against ground faults. When selecting a ground fault circuit interrupter for an isolated ground receptacle, it is important to choose a device that is compatible with the receptacle's voltage and current rating. It's important to ensure the ground fault circuit interrupter meets applicable electrical codes and standards. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidelines for the installation and use of ground fault circuit interrupters. Article 210.8 of the NEC specifies where ground fault circuit interrupter protection is required. Ground fault circuit interrupter protection is typically required in wet or damp locations such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. It is also required for receptacles serving countertops in kitchens and other areas where water is likely to be present. Although the NEC doesn't specifically mandate ground fault circuit interrupter protection for all isolated ground receptacles in laboratories, it is generally recommended to enhance safety. When installing a ground fault circuit interrupter, follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Incorrect installation can compromise the device's effectiveness. Be sure to test the ground fault circuit interrupter after installation to verify that it is functioning properly. Most ground fault circuit interrupters have a test button that simulates a ground fault. Pressing this button should cause the ground fault circuit interrupter to trip. If the ground fault circuit interrupter does not trip when the test button is pressed, it may be faulty and needs to be replaced. Regular testing of ground fault circuit interrupters is essential to ensure they are working correctly. The NEC recommends testing ground fault circuit interrupters at least once a month. If a ground fault circuit interrupter trips frequently, it may indicate a problem with the electrical circuit or equipment connected to it. In this case, it is important to investigate the cause of the tripping and take corrective action. Ignoring frequent tripping can lead to more serious electrical problems. Orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are a specialized type of electrical device used to provide both ground fault protection and visual identification in specific applications. The color orange is often used to indicate that the receptacle is part of an isolated ground system or serves a specific purpose within a facility. Here's a more detailed explanation of their purpose and function. Firstly, ground fault circuit interrupter protection is the primary function. Like standard ground fault circuit interrupters, orange ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect against electrical shock by monitoring the current flowing through a circuit. If a ground fault is detected, meaning that current is leaking to ground through an unintended path, the ground fault circuit interrupter will quickly trip, cutting off the power to the circuit and reducing the risk of electric shock. Secondly, visual identification. The orange color of the receptacle serves as a visual indicator to identify its specific purpose or location within a facility. This can be particularly useful in environments where multiple types of receptacles are used, such as laboratories, hospitals, or industrial settings. The orange color may indicate that the receptacle is part of an isolated ground system, as mentioned earlier, or that it is dedicated to a specific piece of equipment or area. Isolated ground systems are designed to minimize electrical noise and interference by providing a separate grounding path for sensitive electronic equipment. In these systems, the grounding conductor for the receptacle is isolated from the building's main grounding system, which helps to prevent noise from other equipment from interfering with the operation of the sensitive equipment. Orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are commonly used in laboratories to protect sensitive electronic equipment and prevent electrical shock hazards. They may be installed in areas where experiments are conducted or where analytical instruments are used. In hospitals, orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles may be used in patient care areas to protect medical equipment and ensure patient safety. They may also be used in operating rooms or intensive care units where sensitive monitoring equipment is used. Industrial facilities may use orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles in areas where machinery is operated or where hazardous materials are handled. The orange color helps to identify these receptacles as being part of a safety system. When selecting an orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacle, it is important to consider the voltage and current requirements of the equipment that will be connected to it. You should also ensure that the receptacle is compatible with the wiring system in the facility. The installation of orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacle should be performed by a qualified electrician in accordance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. The electrician will ensure that the receptacle is properly grounded and connected to the circuit, and that it is tested to verify that it is functioning correctly. Regular testing and maintenance of orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles are essential to ensure that they continue to provide reliable protection against electrical shock. The receptacles should be tested periodically using a ground fault circuit interrupter tester to verify that they are tripping properly. Any damaged or malfunctioning receptacle should be replaced immediately. In addition to providing ground fault protection, orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles can also help to prevent equipment damage by protecting against voltage surges and other electrical disturbances. They may include surge protection circuitry that will divert excess voltage away from the equipment, preventing it from being damaged. Using orange ground fault circuit interrupter receptacles can help to improve the overall safety and reliability of electrical systems in a variety of applications. By providing both ground fault protection and visual identification, these receptacles offer a valuable tool for preventing electrical shock hazards and protecting sensitive equipment. When installing ground fault circuit interrupters, ensure they are easily accessible for testing and maintenance. Avoid locations where they might be obstructed or difficult to reach. Proper labeling of circuits and ground fault circuit interrupters is also important. Clearly identify which circuits are protected by each ground fault circuit interrupter. This can save time and prevent confusion during troubleshooting or maintenance. In addition to the devices mentioned, other manufacturers may offer orange ground fault circuit interrupters. Consulting with electrical suppliers or online resources can help identify additional options. Always prioritize safety when working with electrical systems. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, consult a qualified electrician. A qualified electrician can assess the specific needs of your application and recommend the appropriate ground fault circuit interrupter solution. They can also ensure that the installation is done correctly and safely. Regular inspection of electrical systems, including ground fault circuit interrupters and receptacles, is essential for maintaining safety. Look for signs of damage, such as cracks, frayed wires, or loose connections. Any damaged components should be repaired or replaced promptly. Remember that ground fault circuit interrupters are designed to protect people from electrical shock, but they do not prevent all electrical hazards. It is still important to follow safe electrical practices, such as avoiding contact with live wires and using properly insulated tools. By following these guidelines, you can ensure the safe and reliable operation of electrical systems. Ground fault circuit interrupters are an important safety device that can help to prevent electrical shocks and fires.